Hello Linux lovers, my name's Wimpy, welcome to my world. Welcome back everyone, hello and thank you all for joining us. Lovely to see you all again. So this is more of a chat with everyone this evening, and hopefully before I completely melt. It is astonishingly hot here this evening, so beer o'clock as usual. Right then, so a few things. Based on some of your feedback, I've revised the OBS set that we're using here. Hopefully you'll see some of that. I'll point a few of those bits out a bit later. But I suppose the main event is we have a new Discord server. You'll find details of that in the description below. We'd love for you to come and join us. A bunch of like-minded Linux geeks and nerds, everything from developers through to enthusiasts. Please do stop by and join that server. And that server also enables us to do some fancy stuff. It enables me to say a very warm welcome to my good friend Alan.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well. So we've hooked up Discord inside OBS, and we have an on-air channel. So you and I can converse, and also converse with the chat room, and we should probably say hello to everyone that's joining us this evening.
This is very professional.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I feel out of place here.
So yes, I've been honing my skills in OBS. I mean, I've been wanting to take this new set out into a stream for about a week, but it's just been too hot, and turns out this evening also too hot. So that's a little bit unfortunate. We've been saying hello to people in the chat via text, and there's a few others that have just joined us. Joshua, you were talking about desktop audio. Could you hear desktop audio when you think you shouldn't have been able to hear it? I'd be interested to know about that. And Phil, welcome to the stream. John Moore, hello, welcome. And Big Pod, welcome back. Lovely to have you here again. And I think everybody else... Oh, hello, Nitrogen Sky. I think this is the first time I've seen your name in the chat. And Alex as well. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Thank you all for joining. So, where should we start? Is there anything you want to talk about?
Well, the first thing I wanted to mention is you've made changes to the chat bar at the side, and it's so much easier to read now.
Good.
As it scrolls up. I'm doing this on my desktop, and I can see it scrolling. It's very nice. It's very nice.
Thank you. That was a necessity rather than design, that one. So spoiler alert, I don't recommend Streamlabs anymore. I was using Streamlabs for some of the integrations, and it's been a little bit unreliable. So what you can see there, that chat box, is actually the official YouTube chat embedded as a browser source, with about 1,000 lines of CSS applied to override its default appearance to make it look as you see it here. And maybe I'll need to tweak it. So comments welcome from those of you that have joined us or are watching this after the fact, if you think the fonts need tweaking or anything like that. Yeah, but that's one of the many changes. I'll tell you another change. I've now got some stinger transitions. Do you want to have a look at one of those?
Oh, go on, show off.
We'll switch to the overhead cam. You ready? How do you like that?
Ooh, that's a bit swish, isn't it? Did you have to crack out the Blender skills for that?
No, I had to crack out the PayPal account and go and find somebody who can make those things.
But yes, I'll allow it.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how it works, right? It's the whole Fiverr economy, right? So yes, this is the overhead cam. But when I move back, let's go back. Let's go to a slightly a different view. Let's go. Oh no, let's go where we were. We've got a different stinger to take us back as well.
Nice.
So yeah, those all do some work, but I wanted to learn how to do the stingers properly as well. My word, it is way hotter than I appreciate.
The problem with those stinger things is, are you only using them between a scene where there's you on screen and a scene where there's not you on screen? Because I really like those transitions that you had before, where your big fat face zooms around.
You like this one? You like these ones, right? Like that.
Yeah. Those are the ones. Sorry for the lag. I have to wait for it to appear on the screen.
Yeah, I realise you're a couple of seconds behind me, but yeah, I've still got those. So, and I've also fancied those up. So again, for the pause, but here we go. I'll switch to a view where this chat window disappears, and you will see that now whizzes off to one side. And
that's nice. I like that.
yeah. So yeah, I've fancied up all of those animations to make them just a little bit swish and a bit more fun. But then the overhead change is a difficult one to do all of those transitions with. So a stinger transition felt like the best way to do that one. And
I feel like it should be you like disappearing down a plug hole or something.
Well, it's funny you should say that. I do have one that's remarkably like that. I do have one that's like, you know, the 1960s time warp type thing. But yeah, I have something like that. So yeah, that's I suppose, I mean, it looks like not very much has changed, but it was probably about 5 evenings of work just to tidy up some of that. And even the starting screen with the graphic EQ and stuff, I've tweaked that as well. Now of course, it's the Discord. You'll find the description in the link below, and the next round of videos after this one, I'm going to start on a series of videos around Discord on Linux to try and explain as best as I can how I've done some of these things using Linux, so that all of you, because I know some of you are interested in this, maybe not all of you, but some of you are interested, and also like how to turn some of this into a virtual webcam, so maybe you can up your game in your work meetings with your colleagues by using a bit of OBS swish.
So you've said there's going to be some intense videos, you know, a bit of intense OBSing, but in the chat there's been some questions. I wonder if you could like give the tweet size answer to some of these. There's one from Rick where he says, is the Discord overlay in the top left? I guess that's that thing where my fat face appears when I'm talking. Rick says, is that a Discord overlay in the top left? How does that work?
Okay, let me switch to a different view. We'll look at some stuff here. So if we go here and I go into this browser, Discord have what they call StreamKit, and if you scroll down here, there's a bunch of integrations, and at the bottom there is one for OBS. And if you click this connect to Discord, there's one to give you a status widget, which you can then embed in a Discord scene as a browser source, a chat widget, which you can choose a text chat channel from OBS and embed that as your chat in your stream. So maybe you don't want to use YouTube chat or Twitch chat, you want to use your Discord community, you can do that. And then there's one called the voice widget, and it's the voice widget that we're using to display our talking heads.
Neat. That's cool. There's another question from Zoe Ronan. I think it's Ronan or something like that. I apologize for mispronouncing it. It says, hey Wimpy, what's your favorite Ubuntu Mate color? I think we know the answer to this.
It's Chelsea Cucumber.
Yeah, it's a color that has a name. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Chelsea Cucumber is that green color.
Yes, it's Chelsea Cucumber.
And our podcast asked, where do you put the camera that's pointed on you? So I guess that's the one that we're looking at right now, that's looking at your face. Well,
if I point at it, it's there, and it's behind my monitors. I have an Elgato multi-mount, and then clamped midway up that I have a little friction arm with an Arca Swiss mount, and then the camera is on that, and the camera lens is flush with the top of my monitors, and ever so slightly like 5mm above, you know, my top of my monitors.
So you've got one of those vertical pole things clamped to the back of your desk, and then halfway up it, there's another thing clamped to that clamp.
Yeah, and in fact, camera on it. If I go to the overhead cam view, if I point at this camera here, this is ever so slightly above now I'm pointing at, you know, the camera that's pointing at me. So above my camera pointing at me, I have basically a selfie arm that I've scaffolded on the multi-mount, that it is out on a selfie arm with a C920 bolted on the end of it, and that's how I've fashioned this overhead cam out of my old webcam.
I think you should take a step back. Once you've finished all the recording, you could take a step back from your desk and take a photo, chuck it on Instagram, and people can see what your setup looks like. Might be useful.
Yeah, totally. I mean, anyone looking for an immaculate, one of these highly cable managed environments, that is not what you're going to see. It's very utilitarian around here. But yeah, I could totally do that. Why not?
Excellent.
Right. I was going to take a quick look round the various projects that we've been working on and see if there's any outstanding pull requests and stuff like that. And the first thing I was going to do was a quick look at the Retro Remix. I have been doing a little bit of work on this recently, and I will have some updates for that shortly, but for now I thought we could do this. So I just bring that up there. There we go. So the most important thing that every good project needs is a logo. There's a lot of there's a lot of jank in there at the moment. Maybe I'll go into that and show people what I've been doing there. I've been we'll take a look at that as well. I've been looking at a front end for libretro called Ludo as a potential alternative to RetroArch, but of course the most important thing is to copy the new logo in place, which I believe is the second one, and that can go in GitHub.
So where did this logo come from?
I made it in GIMP.
Oh, is this the one with the gamepad in it? Sorry,
it's the one that's based on a D-pad. Yes. So let's just add that and there, and look at the README. I think I left the placeholders in this. Yeah, here we go. Logo.jpg. Well, we've got a logo.ping now. Oh, no, don't want to be in there. That's a different project entirely. So
I thought you did all of your Git stuff with a graphical user interface, but you're doing hardcore mode.
But I'm doing. There we go. There's the new logo. What do we think of that? Somewhat inspired by the Ubuntu family of logos, but very much with a nod to what I think is retro gaming. And that color scheme is derived from the Groove something or other theme that I'm using in RetroArch at the moment, and I found a matching GTK for. So yeah, there we go. We've got a logo for that project now.
Excellent. I like it. I can't quite tell if it's on a flat surface or if it's on a ball. My brain is telling me for some reason that round thing is a ball. I don't know why.
Yes, I suppose it could do that, couldn't it? I mean, it's the sort of colour you'd find on pool balls, for example, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird. It's got no shading on it. There's nothing indicating to my eyes that it's a ball, but for some reason my head thinks it's a ball. But I like it. It's good.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. It gives it some identity. So there's a few new people. Hello, Luke. Hello, Luke, you splitter. How are you? Hello, Ed. Is that game controller something you 3D printed, or did you... Sorry. What's this? Ed Lazarus. Is that game controller something... or did you buy it from somewhere? Ed, what game controller are you referring to? I'm not sure I follow your question.
Is there one on your desk when you had your overhead thing on? Is there one?
There's not. No, there isn't. At least I don't think so. No, that's the Pi 4. There's no controllers on my desk this evening.
Ah, the one you posted on the internet.
Ah, that one. Oh, right. Okay. So that is a 3D printed case from a design that I got off Thingiverse or something like that. And somebody in my local makerspace has got a 3D printer and they printed it for me. So that's where that case came from. And that's about 4 years old now. And ready for an update. So you will have seen in an earlier stream I've got some of those retro flag cases, and I'm going to be recreating each of those consoles using those retro flag cases. Right. Okay, so Popey, you and I talked a little bit about, well, in fact, Ludo was all your idea.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Stream. So I have done quite a bit of work on that, and in fact, what I could do is if I just run let's try. I'm actually trying to run it locally. There we go. Right, here we go. This is what Ludo looks like. So it's another front end for Libretro, but it's I think it's fair to say it's opinionated. I think the author describes it as such, and I quite liked it. I really wanted to base Ubuntu Retro Remix around this, but I'm not going to. But that's not to say it's not a great project and one that you all might be interested in. So you have the main menu. Hang on, I've got.
So a typical use case for this might be if you're making your own little gaming machine, you use Libretro under the covers to do all the emulation and all the cores and stuff.
Right.
But this would be your graphical front end because the RetroArch front end is a bit quirky.
Some people find it a bit overwhelming because RetroArch is all things to all people, and this is very much not that. And also, this comes with all of the cores that you need, and the author has selected a core for each device that is emulated, and that's your only option. You don't get to pick and choose. If you want Nintendo, I think it's Nestopia, I forget exactly, but there are a bunch of cores. They're built in, they're all available, and the couple of things that have tripped me up is, as you can see, I was just trying to navigate it with the keyboard, which has worked up till now and is not working, and I did have it hooked up to one of the supported controllers. He looks around, one of the supported controllers, which I have several of, which is one of these, which is the 8-bit DOE. This goes by several names. I know it as the NES 30 Pro, but when this is wired, because it works off USB or Bluetooth, this is one of the supported controllers, but that didn't work. And that was kind of the sticking point with it, is that it just wasn't super reliable in the things I needed, and that's the 3D printed case that I was referring to earlier. As you can see, very much 3D printed, you know, doesn't quite fit, a little bit bent and crooked in places, but that's been my Nintendo emulator for some years.
So you said you've kind of given up on Ludo. Have you made a decision about what you're going to do instead of using Ludo?
Almost, but not quite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete the work to get RetroArch working using that new user interface that they have. Oh, there we go. It's working now. So this is You have to use X, don't you? Yeah. So this is how you load a core. And I've started Ludo in Ludo OS mode, which is where you get these additional shutdown and reboot commands, but you also get this updater. The problem with these commands, these are hard coded to a LibreElec build system, so they're not in the path of most distros, so that needs patching. This updater is hard coded to only pull down ARM binaries, so that would need work. And I see loads of potential, but I also see loads of me getting involved in development stuff, which I don't really have time to do. This was the main feature why I wanted to use it. It has a Wi-Fi configuration utility, which on the back end speaks to Conman, which is a bit like Network Manager, but for sort of embedded devices. And when you turn this on, it won't work here because I'm running this on my desktop, but when you turn this on with the Conman packages, you get a keyboard overlay to select your Wi-Fi network and authenticate. And I was like, that is brilliant, because as an appliance, that's kind of what you want. And this was the feature that I really wanted it for. I've since learned RetroArch does that too. So RetroArch is back in the frame. So I'm going to try and get RetroArch fully working, and then I may take a look and see about getting Emulation Station sitting on top of all of that.
Did you say RetroArch has a new UI?
Yes. So I forget what they called it, but I demoed it in a couple of streams back. So the way that I've got in fact, I tell you what, I say I don't know. We can go and find out because we've got the source code here. We can go and take a look. Hello, there we go. That's a bit finicky. Right, so here's the source code. So there is somewhere in here where I configure RetroArch. Oh, there it is. So right, here we go. So traditionally, XMB has been the user interface of RetroArch, which was sort of styled after the PlayStation 3 crossbar interface. But in forthcoming versions of RetroArch, Ozone is going to be the default. And Ozone exists in the current builds. So in my configuration, I make the Ozone UI the default. And I find it a lot more straightforward to navigate, even though there's still tons of stuff in there, some of which you can disable. So the other thing I'm going to do is go and turn off a whole bunch of stuff that is unnecessary to sort of simplify and trim it down. And in fact, there's a few lines here where I already do. Here we go. There's a few lines here where I do precisely that. Just turn off a few things to do with looking at pictures and video and music, because that's not something I want to do. And again, it just collapses down what you have to look at. So I'm inclined to stick with RetroArch for the time being, because I made a lot of progress with it in a short amount of time. And I've already got some new bits that I'm working on. If I can get the Wi-Fi connectivity thing working, that will be the killer feature for me.
So then you just splat it onto a SD card, the image that this thing creates, splat it onto an SD card along with some legally obtained ROMs or whatever,
right,
and chuck that in a Pi, and you could put it in your lounge plugged into a TV with one of these Bluetooth joysticks and use that to navigate to get on the Wi-Fi if you haven't got Ethernet down there. That's the plan, is it?
That's the goal, is that you can get on the Wi-Fi without having to SSH into the thing over a wired Ethernet cable.
Right.
That's the goal. And, you know, I want to set up a mini Samba server so that in order to put your legally acquired ROMs on it, you can just, you know, do that over the network.
Neat. That sounds super useful.
Yeah, so that's the plan for RetroArch. And Ludo, I still really like it, and I started filing bugs, and I had a little chat with the developer, and I was just like, this is just a vortex. I'm going to get sucked into this. And I was super keen because Ludo's all implemented in Go, and I've dabbled with Go but never programmed in Go in anger. And I was like, this is an opportunity to actually like do some Go development for real. But the reality of the situation, I simply don't have the time to commit to, you know, helping on a project like that. So Ludo's great, and if it works for you, I'm sure I'll have a lot of fun with it. But I'm going to stick with RetroArch for now because I think I can just focus on the integration pieces rather than actually having to write code.
Sweet.
Right. Okay. What have we got here in chat? So yes, Joshua, was it you? Yeah, Joshua. I saw your PR for the 64 Pi. I haven't merged it yet because there's some other changes that I'm making in the repo, but I'm aware. I have seen it. Don't worry. We'll get to that. Yes. So Ludo has that bright white theme, and yeah, when I ran that up on the plasma telly downstairs, I gave myself an instant suntan. It is a little bit on the bright side, I have to say. It does need a dark theme for sure. Hello Kershik, welcome. And one of the things I've done with the RetroArch theme is it's got a slightly dark theme. It's sort of this chocolate brown. Right, okay, so if I just go and bring up code, I have got a whole bunch of stuff in here, but I can't remember what changes I've made, so let's go and have a look. I did all sorts of crazy stuff in here recently. Where's there it is. So, Retro Remix, let's go and look at what we've got. So, okay, that one we definitely need to commit. That is a correction. So we'll just get that in. Also, you can see in the stream these Spotify album overlays. That's still very much a work in progress. That's the next thing I'm going to try and fancy up. And I've got some scripts to do that. Ah, yes, we need this too. So,
I can see why you like Git Kraken here. It's quite pleasant, isn't it?
it took me a little while. I found the user interface a little bit frustrating at first, and I knew there were these powerful features in there, but it wasn't clicking how to drive it. But now I know how to drive it. I just love it. So, now this is where it all gets a little bit crazy town. So in here, I've got a bunch of changes where I basically just sucked in a binary release from upstream Ludo and unpacked it into the appropriate places and copied things around. So that was jamming Ludo into an image. So I've actually made an image with Ludo on it and had a play, and this is how I know it was close but not quite there. And up here you can see installing conman packages. And then this isn't going to get committed, but also in order to debug things, I jammed a minimal Ubuntu Mate system on the image so that I could, at the LightDM login screen, log into Ubuntu Mate and have a little tinker around. So that was an easy way to iterate on things.
Yeah, what would you do? Like, I can see why you would do that. Why you would put forgive the phrase full fat desktop, because I know Ubuntu Mate isn't super fat. But I can see why on an appliance type thing, sometimes you might want to log into a proper desktop. And I know SteamOS has a minimal desktop on it so that you can log out of like game mode that boots straight into Steam big picture and log into a proper desktop. So if you need to do maintenance, update the drivers or whatever, you or debug, you could do that. Do you plan on adding something like that? I mean, you've said that won't get committed, but it seems like something that would be useful.
Yeah, I definitely think I'm going to include something. I mean, by default, the Retro Remix enables SSH via Cloud Init. So providing you can plug it into Ethernet, the thing will get on your network and you can SSH into it and you can do things that way. But a lot of the time you want, whilst you're iterating on it, you want a graphical environment. So it won't be all of Mate because that's a fairly minimal thing, but it adds a couple of 100 meg to the size of the image. So something, but I don't know what yet. Answers in chat are greatly welcomed, and Big Pod, you can, if you can type open box faster than I can say it. Oh, Simon beat me to it. There we go. It's not going to be open box. I'm thinking Fluxbox. I think Fluxbox might be a good. Oh,
blimey, we've triggered that conversation again.
And here it all comes. So I'm not going to commit that now, and I'm not going to commit the Ludo stuff. I'll just let that sit there. I'll have a play with that. But I think these bits I'm going to need, because we are, in fact that's wrong. I need this bit though, these lines here. Fully disable the network configuration, and we want that because we're going to have Conman handle the network, so we don't want NetPlan or Cloud Init getting in the way. So there we go. And that stuff isn't ready yet. There's my Ludo config that I was using, and as you can see, a lot of the state of the game I was putting under SRV, and not that it's in the source here, but I scaffolded up a basic Samba server to expose all of that, so you could just suck your data off or inject ROMs. And as you can see, Ludo has control over enabling and disabling Bluetooth, Samba and SSH. It's a very interesting project. And then, oh, that's me just commenting stuff out, so we can discard that. And that's adding Ludo as a desktop session, which we don't need anymore, and that was making it the default, which we don't need anymore either. So all of that's just me iterating on stuff. So I think that's everything that's sensible, so we'll push all of that up. So that's kind of that one for now. So hopefully all of that code is sitting there. Let's go and see if anyone else other than Joshua has sent anything our way. So it's, we've just got the one PR at the moment, which is this C64 stuff, which obviously, as a massive Commodore 64 fan, is going to factor in there. I don't have a case for a Commodore 64 Pi yet, but working on that. So the next project I thought we should probably give some attention because it's actually fallen behind a little bit, and that's Desktopify. Not least because Desktopify has appeared in a video of a rather prominent YouTube channel today. So, and I've noticed in the Discord where these projects are hooked up in the Discord channel that I mentioned earlier, so links for the Discord below, and you can see all of the GitHub activity, and I could see a load of people adding stars to it, which I imagine is as a result of Chris Barnett's video earlier. So
that was a good video. I liked the fact that he was reviewing 64-bit versions. I'll put a link in the chat in a minute. He was reviewing 64-bit operating systems for the Raspberry Pi, for a tricked out, fairly high-end Raspberry Pi. And it's kind of surprised me. I thought, oh yeah, he's looking at Mate, he's looking at Ubuntu, he's looking at these other ones. And then when he came to put Ubuntu on it, he did the server install, and I thought, oh, I know what's coming. he's gonna go and get Desktopify, and sure enough, he did, and just showed just how easy it is. Just clone that repo, run the script with a couple of parameters, job done. I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, so there was a few things. The first is there's some stuff I need to improve in Desktopify, and the other thing you can see here, I've actually got a snap for Desktopify. I really need to write in the forum and say I want classic confinement for this, so it could just be snap install Desktopify and run Desktopify rather than git, apt install git clone cd then run Desktopify. I think that could be improved. But what I want,
or you could make a curl pipe to bash version of it,
or not. In fact, I went out of my way. There's another project. Let's just bring up GitHub a second. There's another project I worked on recently. There's a video in the channel about. In fact, it's in here. It's the Argon 1 Ubuntu. This is the fan controller for the Argon fan hat, and also the one that's in overhead. The one that's in here, which is the Argon 1 Raspberry Pi 4 case, has an integrated fan. And I took the upstream project and refactored it so that it didn't use curl pipe to bash, which is how they distributed it. Right, so Desktopify. Now I'm going to give away some secrets here, so here we go. I have another project which is not on that GitHub yet. In fact, we're in the wrong directory here, aren't we? We need to be meld. Can't remember what the script is called though. Ubuntu Pi image. It's right, it's just me and you, Alan. Nobody else can see any of this, can they? Right, okay, that's a little bit very large. Let's just bring that over here. So this is a script on this side which builds the Ubuntu Mate images, and there is some code from here. Oh, can I even remember what I need to do? It's actually been about a week since I looked at this and I can't remember what I need to merge now. It was all the stuff to do with the kernel. Where's that? Up here. Oh, okay, nice. Oh, thank you, Patrick. I tell you what, whilst I try and remember exactly what I did a week ago, if you're new here and you haven't done all of those YouTubey things, then do them now. If you're enjoying this, then give it a thumbs up. If you're getting value from it, subscribe, and if you don't like it, hit the thumbs down twice. Actually can't remember what it was I was going. It was all of this stuff, I think. No, it wasn't that stuff. Oh, thank you, Kevin. Very good. No, actually, I can't remember, and I'm not going to sit here and bore you all whilst I scrape the back of my brain and try and remember what it is. We'll do that another day, and I'll get that merged in. If you want to see what these changes are, then join the Discord, because in those channels for these projects, all of the commits and changes will be reflected there, so you can follow along in the chat without having to go and check the Git repositories. And excuse the rather hot and bothered Martin, but we've got a subtrain going here. Look. See, look. Can we see that? Can you see little Tux walking along the screen there, making his way to Hacker Tux? There we go. The more you subscribe, the more he keeps walking. Right. So I'm terribly sorry about that Desktopify thing. I can't actually remember what I was going to do. I'll have to look at that in the morning when I'm not evaporating. Is there anything else you want to touch on, Popey?
No, I don't think so. I was just browsing around the various parts of your Discord, actually. So there's
Shall I bring that in? Shall I try?
I was just thinking, actually, it might be worth highlighting, the different channels and what you envisage each of them are for.
Okay. All right. Let me just try and I'll just script. Oh, look at that super chats. That's amazing. Thank you very much. That's very, very good of you. Thank you. How do I pronounce your name? I need to change that. That font coloring doesn't work, does it? That's a bit sad.
Is it Verituanda?
Verituanda. Thank you very much. That's very kind.
No, it's not. It's Veritanuda. There you go. I couldn't even read it with the right font.
And I should probably point out that where things like super chats go. So let's start with this. So in the description for these videos, you will find Amazon affiliate links to some of the equipment that I use, or the Raspberry Pi stuff that I'm showing off in that video, or whatever. And last month that made a surprising amount of money. So I've ploughed all of that back into this Discord. So I've applied for Discord Nitro, which gives me 2 server boosts. One I've already used on this server. But I also paid for a lifetime license to the Mi 6 bot for this Discord, which is about $100. So what I'm using is any money this channel generates is going to get ploughed back into this channel and the community that revolves around it. So yeah, and anything we get, hopefully you'll get value from in some way. So this is the Discord here. You can see the server stats. We're trying to get to 500 members. And the reason for that is I've enabled all of the community building features that Discord have recently launched for Discord. And you have to get to 500 members before some of that stuff gets enabled. And I think when I started this stream, we had 180 members. So thank you to the 50 or so of you that have signed up since then. And as you can see, in addition to my server boost, a few other people have boosted the server as well, which means we have 100 quality Linux emojis and memes and emotes, including some of Mr. Pope, by the way.
Wait, what?
I'll show you that in a moment.
I'm immediately regretting this decision.
You know what they all are. You've seen them before. They're in the public domain. And we have 11 bot overlords that are looking after this server. So when you join this server for the first time, the only thing you'll be able to see is this welcome category with the join instructions and the guide. I need to be in the right virtual screen. So the join is basically our guidelines, and you just have to click the tux to agree to our guidelines. And once you've done that, you will automatically be given the role of a Linux lover, and that will give you access to most of the rest of the server. And then the guide is really just a little, well, first of all, where you can connect with me in various places on the internet, and then an overview of the Discord server and what each of the major sections are for. So announcements is basically a bot that tells you when I'm doing stuff on YouTube and Twitter and all of that kind of thing. Backstage, that's for where Alan and I coordinate this little chit chat that we're having right now. And then we have chit chat, and this is where most of the discussion is taking place. And you can see, here people are chatting about, people are talking about levels. So Mayak, who's one of our server boosters, is he's offline at the moment, but you will see here we have some warty warthogs and some hoary hedgehogs and some breezy badgers. So as you spend time in the Discord and you earn experience points, you go up through the chronology of Ubuntu releases. So the newer the Ubuntu release, you're reflected by the more experience you have in the Discord. So this is just the general chat area. This is where most of the conversation is happening right now. I'm not gonna scroll too far because I'm gonna want to read some of this later. Then we have a little bit of dev chat where software development chit chat happens. Gadget and hardware chat in here. Anything about Raspberry Pi projects and stuff, obviously relevant for a lot of things that we're doing on the channel right now. So Raspberry Pi's there. General Linux chat here. Anything about podcasting, because obviously Alan and I have a podcast with our friend Mark. So I have some experience there, and I thought I should create a channel for that in case anyone else wants to, get into podcasting on Linux or maybe has some questions. And then this one where, I've said I am going to do some videos around OBS, and I've already started having some conversations in here around that. Then general Linux gaming stuff. I have to say thank you because I got a copy of F1 2018 as a result of this the other day, so that was good. And then obviously Alan and I are retro gamers, so I have a retro gaming channel, but also because of these Pi devices, I'm also wanting to share some of that there. Feedback about this Discord and the videos, and then this is where you can talk to the bots and the bots can talk to us. So for example, I can check my rank. So there we go, I'm rank level 9 and I'm currently number 1 in the leaderboard.
Oh. Whoops.
Yes, so Me6 is also an auto moderator, and you have angered the bot overlords. Well done.
All I did was say hello. I was being friendly to the bot. I thought I was speaking in bot language.
So, there we go. And you can also, do help, for example, and that will give you some of the additional help. Then this was a suggestion from the community. So once you have attained the rank of Warty Warthog, you will get access to the image share category, and also access to the permission to upload images to the server. And then horn blowing is if you're working on a project and you want to let people know about it, then you can do that here. And then the VIP lounges for patrons and boosters and supporters and all of that sort of thing. And then the project chat category, this is where GitHub is hooked up to each of these, and if anyone wants to discuss the projects or see what the GitHub activity is there, that's all reflected in each of these. So there's one for each of those projects that we've been working on. And then the Ubuntu Mate team, we're looking at moving over all of our development workflow here. So I won't show you some of this because there's some private conversation in there. Some of it will go public eventually. Some of it is like here. This is just a GitHub integration, so it shows you all the upstream Mate desktop interaction, and then the same for Ubuntu Mate. And then you can see here, you won't be able to see this channel in the forum, in the Discord server yourself, but this is where Alan and I are currently residing, talking to you, and
hello,
all hooked up to OBS Studio. And then down here we have general voice chats. So you got some pods for one-to-one conversation. It only allows 2 people in, so if you want to have a private one-to-one conversation, you can do it there. Team rooms for team collaboration, or squads for gaming. So each of the room numbers reflects how many people is the maximum capacity of the room. We have the community center, unlimited, everyone can pile in there. If you want voice chat with a group of people, you can do it there. And then quiet listening. And if you can hear the background music that's playing at the moment, that is published by a guy called Harris Heller, and it's called Stream Beats. And what I've done, I'll just have to... So 2D, what you need to do is in the bot chat channel, you need to do bang play, and that will tell the bot to start playing the music that I've queued up. And it's some lo-fi beats. So you can go in there, and you can't speak to other people, but you can just listen to the music that's been queued up. And most of this capability is created through the Me6 bot, this one over here. And then we also have Carlbot, which is a similar kind of bot, and he's there as backup for Me6 basically. So that's the general overview of the Discord, and I'm open to your feedback and ideas. So there we go.
Thanks for that.
We can see here there's the recent commits that we've just done on the stream earlier. So
Nice one.
come one, come all. We'd love to have you there. Right. That was interesting. I think Hot Fingers managed to trigger the wrong thing there. And Hot Fingers indeed. I'm boiling. Is there any questions I've missed in chat?
I don't think so. Other than pointing out my mistaken pronunciation for stuff. No, I think it's just been general chat and observation.
Okay. Right. Well, thank you everyone for stopping by. I am going to start making these OBS Studio videos. So join the Discord. Go to the Linux streaming channel. Let me know what topics you want covered as a priority, and I will try and address them based on where I see the most interest, because that would be a good way to go about things. And with that, I think thank you very much, Alan, for joining me this evening. I'm glad the technology worked. That's always pleasing. And thank you to everyone for stopping by into chat and saying hello. And with that, I think we'll call it a night, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you all for coming, everyone. Bye for now.